All right, looks like we're live. Sorry, I don't have anybody in here yet, so give me a second here to get everything set up while everybody's joining. Hopefully we'll get people in here in just a second. Get my computer set up so I can keep up. There's Thomas. Thomas, I'm going to pronounce your last name wrong. Yin? Did I get that right? Hopefully I got that right. I'm terrible with names. I can't pronounce them right at all. Win, Thomas Win, thank you. Sorry about that. Hey, New York Tigress, how are you this evening? And Rachel McVeigh, howdy to you too. El Paso, Texas, that's Janelli Adrioli, I'm not sure. I'm doing well, thanks. I had to talk about my week. It's been a busy, hectic week for me. Let's see, I had a root canal yesterday, to the right there, root canal. And a filling down here, so I had all that done yesterday, but I'm doing pretty good, really, all in all. It wasn't all that bad, honestly. Just started obedience training with my dog, which we showed off last week, so this week I've got to keep him all strapped to me with a leash all week long, so he is right here with me, and if you see me looking down and messing with him a little bit, then that's what's going on doing this. From Aruba, huh? That's Nelson Del Rosario. Well, thanks for joining all the way from Aruba. What time is it in Aruba right now? Max, quit. Well, I don't know what time it is in Aruba. Well, hey there, Duke. Thank you very much for the kind comments. 8030, so you're only an hour ahead of me here. All right, Sunny V. Looking forward to seeing my hatches. Oh, you guys want to see the hatch tonight? I forgot about that. Yeah, I've got quail in the brooder. They're about, well, just under a week, well, about a week old. You saw them last week on the live broadcast. They were just hatching, got them in the brooder now. Let's talk about that for a minute because I did a dry hatch, which means I didn't add any water to the incubator until it came time to go into lockdown. And that's when I added some water to up the humidity just a little bit. And I ended up with 37 birds out of 50 eggs hatched. So not a fantastic hatch rate. Could have been any number of things that caused that. I did have several of them that pipped but never made it out of the shell, which kind of indicates low humidity, but the humidity was up pretty good during lockdown, so I'm not really sure. I might try that out again. And sorry again if I keep seeming distracted. I'm kind of paying attention to the dog, making sure he's not chewing anything up down here. I do this fish, huh? Hi, I'm a new subscriber. I learn a lot from your videos, and I can't wait to get my own house and start my own garden and raise my own meat. Keep the videos going. Well, thank you very much for that. I do this fish. Is that right? I do this fish. That's a weird name, but thank you very much for that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I do appreciate that. Yeah, it wasn't a terrible hatch rate, Sunny V. It's, yeah, for a dry hatch, yeah, I was just experimenting with that to see how well it worked. Not a terrible hatch rate. And again, could have been something else. I started hatching out a little bit early, so I think maybe my temperature was a little bit high, and that may have been what caused it. And then again, opening up the incubator during last week's live video when you guys told me not to, and I did anyway, that may have caused some of the chicks that were pipped to not hatch out. But I'm not really blaming you guys on that. That was my own fault. I ended up opening it up right then and getting them all out anyway into the brooder, so it was time to do that. So I'm going to recalibrate my thermometer, put 2 thermometers in there, double check my incubator thermometer on that, and see what it reads at. Come here, Max. Come here, buddy. Getting a dog strapped to you on a leash all the time. Boy, he just managed to get wrapped up around everything. But, here, come here. Let's say hi to the camera. All right. If you guys didn't get to see him last week, here's Max. Here's Max. He's getting big already. And, like I said, going through obedience training, so he gets to stay tied to a leash to me all week long to learn that I'm the leader, me or my wife, but it's me right now, so he gets to sit here with us on this video. Oh, come on, calm down. There you go, buddy. Alright, so what else is going on? Let's see, I've got still... Oh, you guys probably can't hear me very well, can you? I forgot to plug in my my mic. Let me plug that in real quick. Let me figure out where it plugs in. How embarrassing. Real here. How's audio good now? No, what? The audio's bad? Unplug it, okay. That's better? Okay, we'll just leave it unplugged then. We'll go with it this way. Usually if I get it plugged in, it works pretty well, but we'll leave it out there. I bet, yeah, plugging it in probably caused some problems. We'll just leave it out for this video. If you guys hear all kinds of background noise and stuff, then sorry about that. There we go. Okay, so somebody asked me a question. Let's see, Duke Legal says, you have some due to hatch for the first time Sunday. You think you might have a problem because Monday you added more eggs and the originals are due for lockdown today. Any advice? Yeah, probably not a good idea to add a bunch of eggs to your incubator after the ones are getting ready to go into lockdown. If you don't have another incubator that you can move the ones that are getting ready to go lockdown into, well, I don't know what else to tell you. Maybe remove the eggs that you just added and call them a loss, or you could try just leaving them in there and seeing how well it works, but I don't know, really what to tell you on that. I've never tried anything like that before. Sometimes, if you have an extra incubator, it's great. You can use it as a hatcher, move your eggs into it at lockdown, and then just keep the other one for your eggs for the first 15 days. All right, somebody's saying good evening from New York. That's Bird Breeder. I wonder if you're anywhere close to Tigris. Sounds good both ways. Okay. Do you need to give your quails a nest box? Well, you know what? I actually just addressed that in the video that came out Monday night. No, quail do not need a nest box. It's a good idea to add a sandbox or something like that to them. They will lay most of their eggs in the sandbox if you add one to it, but they don't actually usually go broody and lay eggs. Or excuse me, make nests, so they don't really sit on their eggs, hatch their eggs out. It's happened, but it's a very rare thing for it to actually happen with Coturnix quail. So no, you don't need a nest box. They probably won't use it if you put one in there. They may lay their eggs in it, but they're probably not going to sit on their eggs. All right, you want to start your own quail coop. This is Janelli. You want to start your own quail coop soon, but you're afraid of them getting mites and ticks. What do you recommend? I've never had a problem with mites or ticks on my birds, period, whatsoever. So I don't think it's a big concern, especially ticks. I think they would probably eat the ticks before they'd let them get to them too much. So I wouldn't really be worried about mites and ticks. If you do end up with mites, you can treat those with, olive oil, mineral oil, anything like that. Just coat the birds down with it, and it'll smother the mites out. But again, I've never had a problem with either one, so I don't think you're going to have much to worry about there. My dog is... No, quit chewing on that. He's coming into his puppy stage. All right, who else we got here? Ask Survivor says, can you inbreed rabbits? If so, what extent? Anything I need to worry about when doing it? I actually did a video on that not too long ago, too. Actually, it may have been quite a while ago. It's called Inbreeding Rabbits. You can look that up and watch that if you want to, but basically the quick answer is, yes, you can inbreed rabbits. You can breed mother to father, daughter to father, son to mother. You don't want to breed brother and sister. Not a good idea. Terrible, bad idea. But you can breed father to, daughter, like I said, mother to son, and that works out just fine. In fact, sometimes it's actually good to do. It will amplify your traits, so the good traits, but also the bad traits will get amplified through that. So you want to make sure that you have good, real good traits in your rabbits. You don't want to take a rabbit that's maybe real hateful or something like that and inbreed it back, because the offspring will probably make those traits even worse. So hopefully that answers that question for you. All right, Bird Breeder says, trying your advice to raise quail in a spare bedroom. Why are the roosters crowing all through the night? Do you have some light going? Roosters, especially when they first hit sexual maturity, they crow like crazy. And you can probably hear mine back there in the background right now. They tend to crow a lot early in the morning and then early evening. They tend to crow a whole lot during both of those times. So those are just things you kind of have to deal with on that. Usually, once it goes dark, though, they calm down and they quit crowing. If you've got too many roosters in there, that can be one reason why they might crow all night long, is they're competing with each other. But other than that, I'm not sure what to tell you on that. Just get rid of a few extra roosters, maybe. All right, where are we at here? Yeah, I just think I answered that one for you, Bird Breeder. Rabbit to me says, please. I'm not sure what you're saying, please, too. I'm sorry, I missed your earlier comment. Yeah, 7 weeks old, Bird Breeder. Yeah, they're going to start crowing quite a bit. They'll calm down here a little bit, but really it's good time to go ahead and take your extra roosters and just butcher them and eat them. because you don't need that many roosters probably. I don't know how many hens you have, but you only need about 1 to 5, 1 to 4. One rooster for every 4 or 5 hens. So you don't need to worry about keeping that many roosters on hand. And that'll calm them down. Once there's not nearly as many roosters, they will calm down a little bit and they won't crow quite as much. Alright, let's see what we got. What vegetables do I feed my quail? Is apple or lettuce okay? Apple's okay. It depends on what kind of lettuce you're talking about. Leaf lettuce is pretty much like iceberg. It's not good for any animal. Don't feed it to your animals. But dark lettuces like romaine, those kinds of things, yeah, those are fine to feed to your quail. I don't really feed a lot of vegetables to my quail. Sometimes I'll throw them an extra cucumber or something like that. It's good. Stay away from nightshades, which would be like the vines, the stems, the leaves of tomato plants, potatoes. There's a bunch of other nightshades. Look it up. You can kind of figure out what they are. The fruit's okay. Tomato fruit is okay, but not the actual plant itself. Look up my video on what vegetables to feed quail, or feeding vegetables to your quail. I can't remember what I titled it, and I went through some great detail in that one on about what you can feed, what vegetables you can feed your quail. So hopefully that kind of answers that for you. Show us the bunnies. Well, nothing's changed with the bunnies. We might go over and take a look at them. I don't know if I can keep a connection that far away, so towards the end of the video, we'll try. We'll see. So if I lose the connection, it's not that bad. Just remind me I said that. We'll go take a look at the rabbits. We'll take a look at the baby quail that are in the brooder box right now. Somebody else from Australia, Matoma Martin from Australia. Hey, thanks for joining. So, but there's nothing changed with the rabbits. It's still just the same 3 that I've got. But we'll go show them off here in a minute if you want to see them. Can you tell the sex just by their body size and weight? This is bird breed. Okay, you're talking about the quail. It depends on what kind of quail they are, what breed, I guess they are, what color. If they're pure white, it's a little bit harder to tell. One good way is when they start crowing, you know it's a male. You can vent sex them as well. Look up my video on, I think it's called 3 Easy Ways to Sex Coturnix Quail, and you can see how to sex them in there. The males, if they're the standard brown colors, the males will have more of a orange chest, whereas the females will have kind of a speckled chest. So it's pretty easy to tell them apart by feathers. The rest of them, you almost have to feather sex them. There's a couple other that you can, well, I mean, vent sex them. And I show in detail in that video how to do that. So look that up and check that out. All right, somebody else says, you were hoping to start, okay, you were hoping to save some money on rabbits by starting with 2 and breeding daughter to father to expand your breeding stock. Wants $100 for a pair of New Zealand rabbits? Good grief, that's expensive. Good luck. Yeah, it should work though. So hopefully that works out for you good. You may have to add some new blood into it every great once in a while. But yeah, you can get some extra breeding stock out of that, no problem. Alright, so I do this fish. Says, when breeding your meat rabbits, do you breed the stock up through the year or just for a couple of months and then give them a break? I do give them a break right now. It's August, and although it's been fairly cool here lately, this is the time of year, June, July, August, where it's pretty typically 100 degrees during the day. And really when the average temperature is up close to 90 degrees, I don't breed my rabbits. I just give them a break, let them have that time off, and I'll start breeding them again in the fall. They do much, much better in the winter than they do in the summer. I mean, they're wearing big fur, heavy coats. I don't want to stress them out anymore in the heat of the summer than I have to, so I don't breed them during the summertime. Oh, I don't know if Single Man's in here, but if you want to see, this is a Pepsi. He made a comment last week that in the live video that he wanted to see the label because he thought it was a Bud Light, and he was afraid he offended me. And you know, I'm a little bit offended, but not because of the reason you might think, because you guys have seen me. Do I look like I drink light beer? Come on. This belly didn't get here by drinking light and diet stuff. In all honesty, I'm not against drinking a beer every once in a while. I don't drink much beer, very little. Every once in a while I'll have one with dinner. But no, I'm not drinking a beer. I am drinking soda, not a beer. That's where I got the belly from, actually. And I wasn't offended by that comment in the slightest bit. It didn't bother me. But I will tell you what, if I do drink a beer, it's not Bud Light, that's for sure. Yep, Iceberg has no nutritional. This is RS2100. Iceberg has no nutrition. You're right. Animals get full, but gets no nutrition. Yeah, and it can cause diarrhea. It's mostly just water anyway and fiber, so it can really cause some problems with your animals. Not good to feed to any animal whatsoever, except for maybe us. We can eat iceberg lettuce okay, but the rest of your animals, not good for them. Alright, somebody says, Sunny V says, drink a beer in my next video. Probably won't do that. Just not really the the right thing to do, probably not a good example to set for everybody else out there. I am a Christian, I am an elder in a church, so seeing me on a video, it's one thing to drink a beer every once in a while, another thing to be drinking one on a video, displaying it for everybody in the world to see. Probably won't be doing that, no offense. Your rabbit is supposed to have babies on Saturday and Sunday. This is Unruly Kennel. Well, hey, congratulations. Good luck with that, Kendall. Hope it goes well. Rachel McVeigh says, can you give cucumbers to rabbits? Yeah, you can give cucumbers to rabbits. Anytime you're going to give rabbits anything new, you want to start slowly. So don't just go in and throw them, a great big cucumber. Give them a little slice of it here and there for a couple of days and work up to that, because they need to build up their gut bacteria. If you switch foods on a rabbit really quick, it can really cause some problems with their health. And that goes for anything. Like, you don't want to go from pellets to feeding them all grass. You want to make that transition slowly. Okay, so Rabbits in Me says, hey, you've been wanting to breed your buck. If you could, would you breed one of your does with him? Hey, I've been wanting to breed my buck. If you could, would you breed one of your does with... I'm not sure what you're asking me. I mean, what else would you breed with your buck but a doe? Sorry if I misunderstood that question. I'm just not sure what you're asking me exactly. And Thomas Wynn, I got your name right this time, says, do jumbo quail lay the largest out of the quail? They do, actually, out of the Coturnix quail anyway. I mean, there may be some other quail that lay larger eggs I'm not familiar with, but yeah, as far as Coturnix quail go, the jumbo pharaohs lay the largest of all the quail eggs. Now, when you say the largest, yeah, jumbo eggs are bigger than standard eggs, but as far as amongst jumbo birds, the pharaohs laying the biggest eggs, it's probably marginally bigger. I don't know if you can tell by the naked eye. You can weigh them out, and you can see how much they weigh, and you can tell that way. All right, so Matoma Martin says, is the best time to start indicating, I think you mean incubating eggs, when the girls start laying eggs. I think you're asking me, is it good to start incubating as soon as the females start laying the eggs? And no, not really. You need to really give them a couple of weeks. Usually when they first start laying, I give them at least 2 weeks before I start saving eggs for incubation, because the first eggs that they lay aren't always the most fertile, and it usually takes a couple of weeks for them to start developing properly, so you can start incubating at that point. Good grief, dog. Lay down. Calm down for a bit. Sorry, guys. Distracted by the dog again. Okay, so Rabbits and Me says, I've been trying to find a doe. Okay, are you asking me if I would breed one of my rabbits with your buck? I mean, I'm not against doing that. I don't know where you live, though, and it may be an awful long drive to southwest Missouri just to breed a rabbit, but if you're anywhere near southwest Missouri, then heck, I don't care. I'll be happy to breed one of my does to your buck if that's what you want to do. How many breeds of quail do I have? Well, I only have one. I don't know, do you call them breed? I have Coturnix quail. I have Coturnix quail jumbos, I have silvers, I have some tuxedos, and a couple of Italians in there. But mostly tuxedo, jumbo pharaoh, and what did I miss? The silver. The Schofield, I think it's called Silver Strain. So I've shown those off in a couple other videos. I don't get internet connection all the way out there, and I'm connected to my Wi-Fi right now. Otherwise, I'd take you out there and I'd show them off. But those are the ones I have. Keep watching my videos. You'll see them in my videos. All right, somebody else has asked, how many breeds of quail? Okay, I already got that one answered. That was Julian Maylett. Hopefully I got that right. And I do this fish. Do you fish? Yes, I fish. I fish all the time. That's one of my favorite pastimes. I am a river fisherman. I've done a couple of videos. Go back and check on my homepage, and you'll see there's a couple of videos I did on fishing about, what did I call it? Texas rigging for river fishing. And did a couple of videos there. Around here, it's primarily smallmouth and largemouth bass in the rivers. Smallmouth's my favorite. That's what I primarily fish for. All right. Bird Breeder says, what are the genetics with these Celadon eggs? Okay. See if I can answer this. I'm not a genetics expert, but the Celadon eggs are those blue-green eggs. If you've seen them in my videos before, and they are... Max, get away from there, buddy. The dog's being annoying right now. He's always good until I do something like this. Okay, so they are... it's a recessive trait, so you'd have to have... a Celadon male and a Celadon female, and they look just like any other bird, so you can't tell them apart just by looking at them. But you'd have to have a male and a female bred together to hatch out that egg and get a Celadon laying bird. Or I guess you could get them in a a percentage of the time, the rest of the time, if they had that recessive trait. Anyway, like I said, I'm not a genetics expert, but that's what it is. Some birds are just genetic for that Celadon trait, and some aren't. So if you take all those Celadon eggs and hatch them out, unless you're breeding two Celadon positive birds together, you're probably not going to get birds out of those eggs that in turn would lay Celadon eggs. So hopefully it kind of makes sense. Again, I'm not a genetics expert. I probably need to study up on that and explain that a little bit better, but that's the basic of it. Is it normal that one of your quail died? Well, yeah, I mean, with the risk of sounding like a smart aleck, everything dies at one point or another. If there's some strange circumstances around that, then it may not be normal. It's not abnormal to have a bird just die, just for whatever reason. Occasionally I go back into the hutches and there's a bird that it died for whatever reason, never know why, doesn't look like anything happened to it, it was fine the day before, next day it's just dead. Don't know why. It's probably some kind of genetic thing in the bird half the time. It could be any number of things that are causing it. Unless you're having like big die-offs, several birds dying several days in a row, it's nothing to worry about. Alright, if you hatch females from the Celadon eggs, do they pass along the blue eggs? Well, they pass along that gene anyway, but again, it could be recessive, so, I kind of already discussed that. That was a bird breeder asking that. I want to save money says your internet is not so good. Well, mine's pretty good. At least it's holding up for today. Rabbits Me says if I were to come to breed him, would it be fine if he's a mini Rex mixed with a Holland Lop? It should be fine. It should be okay. I don't know. We'd have to talk about that. Get a hold of me off this video. We'll figure it out. We'll see what we can work out on that. Oh, hey, okay, let's see. Pranks for Days says, can you make more incubation videos? Sure, what do you want to see on incubation? I did a whole series on hatching and incubating eggs, but heck, I can do more videos on it. What do you want to see on that? Anything specific or just doing the process all over again? Is that what you're looking for? Let me know and I'll see what I can do to work that into the schedule. Alright, Bird Breeder says, hatch Celadon eggs, keep a male and a female, and she may or may not lay blue. But their eggs will carry the blue. Yeah, their eggs will carry at least a recessive trait for that. Their chicks would. So eventually you could get back to Celadon eggs, I would think. Interesting, yeah. Okay, and I Want to Save Money says we have to have permits in Oklahoma for some quail. It is so bum. Oh, so bum. Yeah, but probably not Coturnix quail. They're domesticated. In Missouri, you'd have to have permits too if you were going to raise bob whites. Any native game bird, any native wild animal, you have to have a permit to raise. And bob whites are native to Missouri, so we would have to have permits to raise bob whites as well, but not Coturnix because they're domesticated, not native birds. So hopefully that makes sense. You might check into that. It's probably the same in Oklahoma. In fact, I'm almost positive it's the same in Oklahoma. I'm like 5 miles from the Oklahoma border. And I've bought quail from Oklahoma before. I know plenty of people in Oklahoma that raise quail on a regular basis. All right, so Matoma Martin says, sorry about the spelling. He couldn't spell at school, and I still can't spell with the computer. Hey, don't worry about it. I can't spell at all, and I used to feel terrible about that because I thought, man, I must be stupid. I can't spell. And I read a study somewhere. I wish I could remember who it was because it would sound much more credible if I quoted it. But a study said that people with higher IQs often have a hard time spelling. So that's what I'm going with. I'm too smart to be able to spell. If it wasn't for spell check, I'd be lost. So you use that same excuse. You can say you heard it from me. Of course, I don't know if you heard it from Slightly Rednecked. Really makes any credibility to it whatsoever. But anyway, I heard it from somewhere else. All right. Andrew Badcock says, what can cause fully developed in the egg quail not to hatch? Okay, a number of different things can cause that. Most of the time, it's going to be either a temperature issue or a humidity issue. It depends on if they pipped the shell. If they pipped the shell and didn't quite get out, that's usually a humidity issue. The humidity is too low, or you open the incubator and a rush of dry air rushed in right about the time they were already pipped, and they got shrink wrapped inside the shell. That could happen. It could be a temperature issue where the temperature is too low, causing them to develop so slow and not get their strength up enough to be able to hatch out. Could be poor genetics. Just the genetics of that particular bird were poor and he wasn't strong enough to get out of the shell. It could be too much calcium in your diet. If you've got about if you've got anything over about 2.5% calcium in your diet, it could be too much, and it causes the eggshells to be a lot thicker. and difficult for the birds to get out of. So there's a number of different reasons why they might not. The first thing I would start with is look at your temperature. Make sure you're validating that with a external calibrated thermometer, or better yet, 2 of them, and your humidity. Make sure that's around 65 to 70% at least when you go into lockdown. All right. Oh, I'm drying out here today. What are we talking about? Who else? Carson Labier, I think it is. How long will it take for quail to lay when moved into a different cage? Okay, good question. Max, quick. Get a drink here and wet my throat. Okay, how long does it take quail? When you move quail, they typically do stop laying for a couple of weeks. Usually it's about 2 weeks. So you might move them and get a couple of eggs out of them the first day, and then all of a sudden nothing. And it'll be that way for about a week and a half or 2 weeks, and then they start laying again. But usually not any longer than about 2 weeks. Sometimes 3, but that's on the high end. That's on the extreme end. Bird Breeder says, thanks for the clarification. I think I got that cleared up. Good. No problem. Glad to help. And, okay, I Want to Save Money says, what are my thoughts on battery cages? Well, I think battery cages are fine. It depends on your situation, where you're keeping them. If you guys don't know what battery cages are, they are, I think they call them that because they kind of look like a battery. They're just, cages are usually about this big, by about that tall, by about that wide, and they're meant, well, probably a little taller than that, but not much, and they're meant for breeding cages. So you can keep like maybe 4 females in there at the most, and 1 male rooster. So that's what a battery cage is, and they build them like that so you can stack them up and you can pack a lot of them in a small space on like a big shelving unit. I don't think there's anything wrong with those. The quail are ground dwellers. They don't need a lot of height. They don't really, if you could put them in a great big cage with roosts on it, they will not use them. They won't get up there. They stay on the ground all the time anyway. So I don't see any problem with a battery cage, especially if you're keeping them like in a garage or in a house or something like that. They're closed in on the sides, so that's good. It'll kind of contain the mess, and everything will go down in the dropping trays that you can just pull out and you can go empty. I think they're fine if that's the way you want to do it. They can get expensive, so you might look, I did a whole video on how to make stacking quail cages with PVC frames that were pretty cheap. You might check that out because you might be able to build those a lot cheaper, and you could change the dimensions on them. I built them like 18 inches tall and 24 inches around, but you could build them much smaller than that and condense them down however you wanted to. And that's a thought too if you're looking to save some money on that. Since your name is I Want to Save Money, I thought maybe I'd offer that up. All right, Andrew Badcock says, thank you. Okay, you're welcome. What's my excuse? Oh, not being able to spell because I'm too intelligent. That is a great excuse. I like it. Okay, so I Want to Save Money says, how much of a flex in temperature flex is okay in the incubator? You really want to keep it pretty consistent. I mean, if you're opening it up to add some water and it drops 3 or 4 degrees and you close it back up and then it comes back up to temperature and it's, you know, a fluctuation over, you know, I don't know, 5-10 minutes or something like that, not a big deal. I've even had the power go out and it'd been out for hours, you know, like 4 hours or something like that, and the temperature started to drop a little bit and was down for a couple hours and then picked right back up when the power came back on, and everything was fine on that. So, you know, a little bit of fluctuation is okay, but for the most part you want to try to keep it pretty stable, pretty consistent. All right, Rabbit to Me says, can you look at my profile pic of my buck and what color doe would you breed him with? Well, I might be able to do that later. Comment in this video afterwards, because after the comments section, after the video's post, the comments are gone. I can't go back and look at them again. So if you comment after this video goes offline, and then I'll try to get back in here and look at that. I can't do it right now. I can't keep up with all the comments and look at your profile and all that at the same time. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be rude. I can't juggle that many things at one time. All right, Rabbit to Me says, that was the same question. Sunny V says, what's your thoughts on deep litter for quail? I addressed that in a video a while back too. Different cage systems you can use. There's nothing wrong with deep litter. It works great. But there are some things that you are a little bit of a higher risk at with deep litter. Anytime you keep quail on the ground, whether it's deep litter or it's directly on the ground, you're going to have a slightly higher risk of disease. Again, how high that is really depends on a lot of different things. How prevalent it is in your area, how much other wildlife you have around, all kinds of different things. So when I say a higher risk, who knows how much of a higher risk that is. You may never have a problem with it. Deep litter is good. If you're going to keep them on the ground, I would do it in deep litter. But you are going to have much more of a buildup of waste, and it's going to be a little bit harder to manage than it would be if you were keeping them in a cage like mine. And that's why I keep them in wire cages, because they're so much cleaner. You're not going to be able to pack them quite as dense as you would in a wire cage, simply because the buildup of waste. So you won't be able to do like 1 bird per square foot. You'll need to stretch that out a little bit, or there'll be way too much waste in there. You won't be able to stay on top of it. So that's my thoughts on that, and hopefully that helps a little bit. But if you're willing to do that, and you're willing to put in the work to clean it out every once in a while and all, nothing wrong with the deep litter method. Works great. All right, what else we got? GQF Manufacturing Company, Savannah, Georgia, sells battery cages. Yeah, there's several places that sell battery cages. I didn't realize that GQF Manufacturing did, but that's nice to know. That's Richard of Danbury says that. All right. Comments slowed down just a little bit. Let's see what time we got here. We got 30 minutes on the live broadcast so far. You guys have been keeping me pretty busy answering some questions. Did I miss anybody's comment or miss anybody's question? Hopefully not. All right, you guys want to go take a look at the rabbits and maybe the baby quail that are in the brooder box, see if the internet connection will hold up? Is that, oh, GQF specializes in quail supplies? Yeah, that makes sense. They do, don't they? Not sure if I answered yours either, Duke Legal. What was it real quick? And then we'll go look at the other animals here. Do I feed garden scraps to the quail? Occasionally I do. Check out my video on feeding vegetables to your quail. And you can see my thoughts on what vegetables you can feed and all that kind of stuff. I do feed occasionally some vegetable scraps to my quail. Not on a regular basis, but sometimes. So, Duke Legal, what was your question? I'll tell you what, let's go take a look, and I'll try to get that question answered as well. If I walk away, though, I won't be able to see the comments anymore. So I'll wait here for just a second more. Hey, no problem. I want to save money. Glad I could help. How many quail is ideal for a 6-foot by 3-foot cage? Okay, you can kind of figure about 1 square foot per bird. And I think we can talk about this as we walk. So let me get this, we're filming on my iPad today. Let me get this off the, I can't get, hang on a second. There we go. Sorry about that, unprofessional, but again, I am slightly rednecked after all. Okay, so how many birds to keep in, oh, I just stepped on that and pulled it off my shirt. Okay, we'll deal with that in a minute. Come on, buddy. I gotta get the dog to go with me. Not under there, come around. There you go, come on. There we go, now we're going. Okay, how many birds can you keep in a, I think you said 6-foot by 3-foot. You can kind of figure 1 square foot per bird, so hopefully I don't lose my connection as we start going over here. Let me answer this question beforehand just in case. So that would be 6 by 3 would be 18 square feet, so you could probably keep about 20, you might even be able to go up to like 25 or 30 birds in there if you wanted to, if it's got good ventilation and you're using wire bottom where the droppings will fall through, and they've all come, lived together for a long time. You can probably get a little bit closer to about 30 birds in there. But that's my thoughts on that. All right, guys, hopefully we don't lose you. If we lose you, then before I get over here too far, let me just say thank you guys for watching this video. If we lose you, then we'll be back next week live, and I'll be back Monday for a quail video and Tuesday for a rabbit video. And I just want to tell you guys, God bless you all. Thank you very much for joining this video. I do appreciate that. Now, let's hold our breath and hope that, oh, somebody's asking how long do they stay fertile after birds mated. Okay, about 10 days after a bird's mated. I think that's what you're asking. She can lay, a female that's mated will stay fertile for about 10 days and lay fertile eggs for about 10 days without being mated again. All right, let's go look at the rabbits here real quick. Okay, sorry, I pushed the button that time and dropped it, but I'm back on now. All right, there's the buck. There's my buck. Breaking up a lot. Yeah, that was my fault. I think I pushed the button. Are we doing okay now? Can you guys hear me again? Or is it terrible? We're good now. Okay, good. Yeah, I hit the, I'm filming on my iPad and I hit the button to shut down the app on accident. Okay, there we go. There's my buck, my California buck. You guys have seen him before. He's still molting a little bit. I did a video a couple of weeks ago on it while I was grooming him. He's still molting a little bit. We'll go over here and see the silver fox doe. Maybe we'll see the silver fox doe. She's hiding way back there in the corner. I don't know if she's showing up on camera because she's a black rabbit and likes to hide back in the shadows. She's a little spooky. She doesn't like to be messed with too much, so I'm not going to get her out. There's the Flemish giant cross doe, my newest doe. I'll get my hand out of the way. There she is back there in the corner. She's all right. She's She doesn't mind the attention so much, but you can tell she's not a real fan of it either, so she doesn't want to sit up here and be pestered too much. It's hot out, so I'm not going to open the cages and bother them too much. I'm going to let them rest and let them cool off. If you guys watched last week's video about rabbits using the nest mats, or the resting mats, that was actually yesterday, 2 days ago I posted that. You can tell she wasn't on it. She's on the rest mat now, but she wasn't when we came up here. She just moved back on it to get in the corner. And of course the buck, he's nowhere, let me turn it again, there we go. He's nowhere near the resting mat. They don't hardly ever use them. All right, you want to go take a look at the baby quail in the brooder box? You want to see those? Make sure you guys are still with me. Somebody say something to me. Let me know you're still here. There we go. Okay, still connected. So far, so good. All right, let's go in here. Again, you guys have seen my garage. It's a mess. I am not a hoarder. I am recently married, and we're combining 2 households, so the garage is a mess. Apologize for that ahead of time. All right, I'm going to turn the camera this way, so hopefully you guys can see them. All right, there they are through the brooder. Let's open it up here. I'm going to take the lid off. Hang on a second here, guys. I can't do this all with one hand. All right. Okay, lost the connection, but I think I'm back. I need to get out of the garage. Apparently, I don't have a good enough connection in the garage to keep. Come on, Max. Let's try it out here. Oh, come on, get out of here. All right, are we back? Made it back. Okay. Yeah, I lost the connection going back in there. Sorry about that. Did you guys get a chance to see him at all? Apparently I don't get a signal in the garage, so we can't go back there and look at the quail live, or at least not more than just a minute. For a second you got to see him, huh? Sorry about that. I can't, yeah, I can't get a signal back there. Lose my internet connection. You can hear me talking about, I don't know if it was great video anyway. I didn't realize when I was thinking about doing that I'm going to have to hold the iPad in a weird angle, and I can't see the screen to see what video it's shooting while I'm pointing it at the birds. So I'm not even sure if they were showing up on the camera screen or not. I did my best, but we'll get those in a video. How about next week's quail video? I'll make sure that I get a shot of those babies for you guys. So tune in to next week's quail video, and if I'm not sure the topic yet I'm going to be addressing, but if it's if it's not about baby quail, then I'll make sure that I at least get a shot towards the end of the video about the babies. How's that work? Hopefully you're okay with that. There's a little bit of lag from when I talk to when you respond, so. Cool. Okay. All right. Well, it's been about 35 minutes. You know, Rabbits and Me, I reply to pretty much every comment, except for New York Tigress. I never reply to her comments. But every other comment I pretty much always reply to, so if I miss your comment, it's unintentional. I will do my best to reply to your comment if you comment on this video after it posts. So. Few of you guys, are you laughing at me, Andrew, about not replying to New York Tigress? Few of you guys may know why I don't reply to New York Tigress's comments. Yeah, Rabbit and Me, I'll reply to your comment. I'll do my best. If you don't hear a reply from me in a day or two, then hit me back up, post again, and I'll do my best to reply to you. I promise. Yeah, New York Tigress has been commenting on my videos for a very long time. I think you were on some of my very first videos almost 2 years ago, and I've never been able to reply to one of her comments. It just won't allow me to do it for some reason. So that's why I don't ever reply to her comments. Everybody else I pretty much reply to, even the people that come in here. Let's see, I had somebody on one of my videos yesterday commenting that I was inbred and an animal abuser, and I don't know what they were, but I still comment to them, and I'm nice to them because, hey, there's no reason to let that stuff get under your skin and let it bother you. Just let it slide off. I was a little bit of a smart aleck maybe, but not too bad. I was pretty nice. All right, guys, I'm just babbling on now. I've got a wife in there that's just getting home from work here, and I need to go spend some time with her, so I'm going to let you guys get back to your evening. Thank you so much for joining, and let me know if you guys want to see some topics covered during these live sessions going forward. Oh yeah, Andrew Badcock. Yeah, do that. Go up to the little bell icon up at the top and click it. I don't know where it is, but check in there somewhere. There's a way to set it to where you get notifications on my channel whenever they pop up. Alright, let me know in the comments below this video once it posts, because again, in the comments section in the chat, I won't be able to see it after the video posts. But let me know in the comments below if there's topics you'd like to see addressed in future videos. Even if it's something I did in a previous video, heck, it's not going to be bad to update it. I've gotten better at video. I think I've gotten better, at least in my own mind, I've gotten better at doing video. So it's not something... Hang on. No. Get that out of your mouth. Okay, sorry about that. I pushed the button again. Too many things going on tonight. Anyway, let me know in the comments below what you guys would like to see. I'm going to sign off this video. We're having too many problems tonight. Thank you guys for being patient with me and hanging in there. Thank you for watching. And again, God bless you all. And I will talk to you guys later. Take care.